everyone. Welcome back to TC 911 Beyond the Call podcast. I am your host, Abbey Dudek, the communications coordinator here at Tarrant County 911 District. This is episode 3. And I have the great pleasure of chatting with Supervisor Brittany from NETCOM Communications, also, AKA Keller Communications. Good morning, Brittany. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Now, I say NETCOM. What does that stand for?
It stands for Northeast Tarrant Communications.
Okay. And so it's Keller, and who else you guys got under your belt?
So we dispatch for Keller, Southlake, Colleyville, and then we contract our police and animal control and dispatch for Westlake.
All right. That's a lot. Okay, great. So how long have you been wearing the headset?
So I officially hit my 10 years in April of this past year.
Congratulations.
So still kicking, still loving it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank
10
you.
years. Two
Thank you.
high fives.
Yes,
that's what I call that. Awesome.
Thank you.
What do you get for 10 years? Do you get like a car or
Yeah, I wish it was a car.
a house in Southlake?
That's not going to happen.
If that happens, actually, you know what? Anytime I go up there and I have to go over to Southlake, they're so great up there too, I would drive through there and I'm like, I need to make friends with someone up here because they can trust me to watch their house.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm background cleared. I'm all that stuff.
Right.
And then, you know, we could watch it for you. It's okay.
Yeah.
We can take care of your pool. We can do all of that jazz.
Right.
We can feed your cat or dog or bird or exotic
it's
animals.
Like staying in a castle in some of those places. It's huge.
Do any of them have drawbridges? I feel like there's an opportunity there.
I don't know that I've heard of a drawbridge, but some of them do have bridges over like a little
to get to their house?
To get to their house.
So they have a moat.
They do have a moat, yes.
Oh my gosh. I'd put a gator in there.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd put a fake gator. I'd put a fake gator or crocodile. I don't know which one is.
Might be better than a guard dog, you know.
Yeah, because my dogs, there's no guarding at all. If you come in my house with like a steak or piece of food or something that even looks like food, they're like, oh, hey, friend, come on in. TV's right there.
There you go.
So, okay, so you have all those cities. You've been doing it for 10 years. Now, just at NETCOM, or did you work anywhere else before that?
No, just with Keller only, or NETCOM only, I should say.
Oh, okay, so you came in there fresh, new, and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So you're supervisor now. How long have you had the supervisor role?
So 7 years. So they require at least 2 years of being a dispatcher and having been training as well. So as soon as I had the opportunity to promote and the position opened up, I applied for it and got it. So.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. Now, what some of the changes are, you know, that you can see through the 10 years that you've been there, and you were 3 years as a dispatcher and then 7 as a supervisor. What kind of changes have you seen in your center since then? Because you guys have had a lot of different successes.
Yeah. So I will say, what's nice about being a supervisor there is we are still actually working on the floor. So yes, I'm supervising the team, you know, just making sure we're all staying on point, but I still get to wear the headset. I'm still there answering the calls, working a radio channel, confirming on warrants. So it's nice that we still get to do all of it. And then if need be, we'll break away and say, hey, I've got, you know, some actual admin stuff that I have to work on. And then we'll go to the back and do that if we need to. Yeah, definitely a lot of changes, growth, of course, but at this point, kind of every agency is down a few dispatchers. We're down quite a few. So we've got an opportunity for growth there, but I think everybody kind of has their highs and lows. And
oh, that's absolutely true.
Very, very hopeful.
So you guys are hiring. Can you elaborate about some of the hiring processes and how you guys do your thing over there? Because, you know, every agency is different. So what does that look like to someone who may be interested in working at NETCOM?
Yeah. So we're actually working on speeding up the process a little bit to get people hired. There's a lot that kind of has to be gone through. Of course, all types of background checks. So you would start off just by filling out the application online. You can go to Indeed.com. You can go to the City of Keller website. Pretty much if you just Google City of Keller.
You know what? Is it on my website?
I think we actually did just have you guys repost it.
Yeah, it does. So you can go to our website too. You can go everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah. So it's everywhere. But you fill out an application and then we will send over a link for you to take the critical test, which has to be passed. Usually takes up to 2 hours to complete. complete.
They take that online?
They can actually take it online instead of having to come to Tarrant County 911 or going to the actual agency to do it. Can do it online. If you're going to apply, do not do it on your phone. It's going to be very difficult to do it on your cell phone.
Do you want to explain what Critical is? Because there's got to be someone out there that's like, what is that?
Yeah. So at least here in Tarrant County, what it is it's going to test you in a variety of ways. Your typing, of course, you have to be a pretty decent typer to be able to do the job. Your multitasking skills, how well can you actually hear what's being said through the headset and then type it at the same time. There's also a portion of maps where it's going to say, okay, if you have someone that needs help at this location, how are you going to direct your officer to get there? And you'll have to pick the quickest way on a map. So just kind of a variety of things to just test your skills and abilities, but mainly the multitasking or being able to switch from one task to another, not necessarily doing them at the same time, but being able to go back and forth and, mentally stay on track with what you're doing.
So it's a simulation of actually being a dispatcher. Yeah. That's awesome. Is there any math on the test?
Not that so it's been a while since I've taken it.
I always ask that because it's a historic thing that's been brought up on this podcast a lot that I don't like math.
Oh, gotcha.
And so I just, you know what? Because you never know where math is going to show up. And I like to assure my fellow anti-math people that there is no math on this test.
Nope, no math. There is grammar. I do recall there's some grammar.
Okay.
And spelling, but
that's interesting because, as our experience as dispatchers, spelling can get fun.
Yes.
Is there Grammarly on it? Can I use Grammarly?
Well, so on the test, there's not, but what's nice is our CAD will underline if you've misspelled a word, and sometimes we just get to typing so fast that we just disregard the error that we made and we just keep on going. So
is it all in caps lock also?
I keep everything in caps. Most of us dispatchers do. And if you're not a dispatcher, the reason most of us do that, it's just easier to see. Yeah. I know for me personally, whenever I'm typing in call notes. So it's so funny because we got a new chief a few years ago and one of our employees would email consistently in all caps and she had to tell him I'm not yelling. It's just easier for me to see because I've been doing this for so long. And it's just kind of funny. Never yelling. It's just easier for us.
It's dispatch communication there. And what's funny is too, and I was about ready to say the same thing, when I get emails from dispatchers, a good portion of them are all in caps. Now I understand, but I just find it hilarious. And I'll joke back and I'll reply all and I'll be like, why do you got to be yelling at me?
Right.
I'm just trying to give you something.
Yeah.
Or even on personal notes, like if they'll send me social media platform messengers or something like that, it'll all be in caps.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, are you super excited to talk to me?
Right.
I love how excited you are to talk to me.
Yeah.
So if you ever get communication, if you have a buddy or a family member that's a dispatcher, I bet you're probably like, oh yeah, they did that. That's happened before. It's very common.
Yeah.
So that is hilarious. So you, check your spelling when you're doing that. And it's timed, isn't it?
It is timed. Yeah. Certain portions of it, not the whole thing.
Okay.
But there are certain sections of it that are timed. But to be honest, it's kind of going to give you a good feel about, is this the type of job that you want to do? Are you going to be successful at handling all of these things at one time? So I do know that there's practice tests out there that I found online.
Is it really?
There are. I Googled it a while back before I actually applied to work with Keller just to kind of, see if I was even going to be able to do it. Because, of course, I didn't want to take it and not pass. But I found some. It's not the full test, but found websites that'll give you like a portion of.
Is it like critical? You know what? We're sitting right here in front of my computer. Let's take our friends with us here because then I can give you an answer right here.
Well, I might have to correct myself because I say that there are tests online. There was 10 years ago, but I just Googled like critical practice test or 911 practice test and was able to find different portions of it.
Oh, critical practice test. So I'm just on the Google because we all love the Google.
Yeah, there's one right there, free critical practice test for 911 operators. Yeah.
And even it's 911professor.com.
Nice.
So I'm going to go in there. I'm not going to take it because I'm scared because I don't want you to be like, oh God, Abby, but I'm not applying. So yeah. It is. Oh, it does. It has like different, if you Google critical practice test and find 911professor.com, you can actually get a little taste of it. Now you can buy some of them. You can do the full test for $20.
Nice.
Or you can do half of it and take it. So that's okay. That's a good little start. Also to work on your typing, if you need help with that, I always used to use Typer Shark to keep my
Typer Shark,
where you have to. It's a game and you have to type real fast, otherwise the sharks will come and eat your fish.
Oh, gotcha.
Because
nice.
I'm channeling my inner 10-year-old.
Yeah.
So and it's just fun. So typing games are like the best. I know that sounds so juvenile, but it's.
Oh no, like I'll do it with my kids sometimes. The ones where the words are falling and you have to hurry up and type the words before they get the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's funny just to beat my kids at it. So,
it's like sometimes it's like okay, because nowadays, I mean, if you think about it, a lot of folks are, you're typing on your phone or something like that, which is completely understandable. That's the era that we're living in right now and everything. But yeah, sometimes it's okay to brush up on those typing skills, or maybe you hadn't had a job where you weren't really using a computer that much.
Yeah. Well, there's so many people use laptops nowadays, or they have like an iPad or things like that. Well, they don't always have a 10 key. So we actually had an employee that wasn't aware of what the 10 key was. And I said, well, why don't you use your 10 key? Because it's so much faster to type your numbers. And the employee said, well, what's a 10 key? And I'm like, well, the number's on the side. But that person had always had a Mac, and Macs don't have those.
Oh, they don't. I'm a PC gal.
Yeah, I'm PC, same here. So
I don't. Really? I'm sitting there like, oh, the full row of it, and they don't have that.
They didn't have like the side, the numbers on the side, I
have the keypad on both of mine, and I'm married to it. I love it, and because I don't want to look. Not that it's a huge task. As I'm sitting here, I'm actually, getting one with my keyboard.
My typos are going to be way worse if I try and use the numbers at the top.
Oh yeah, I like just kind of going over here and doing that. So that works out too. It's interesting too because it makes you think of. I'm obviously going to age myself, and I don't know how far apart we are, but we used to have typing classes in elementary school and stuff. Ours was on old Apple 1s and 2s and stuff, and they would call it home row.
Yes,
put your fingers on the home row. And oh my gosh, I don't know why that gave me like horrible anxiety. I'm triggering my PTSD from that right now.
Well, what's so funny is I took typing for 3 years, like 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, just because it gotten easy for me. And before there was like a little cover that first year that I took it. So we would just flip it back when she wasn't looking, so we could see our letters. Well, then the next year they had permanent markered every little letter. So I was kind of forced to learn where the letters are because you couldn't see them. So,
oh my gosh. I remember the covers.
Yeah. It was like a little flip thing that you just kind of.
And some of them are plastic. Some of them, didn't they have like plastic ones you could put over there? Oh my goodness. So funny. I can't remember who my typing teacher was. It was way back, long ago in Illinois. So I don't know. But if that person is listening or remembers who I am a fantastic typer now. Thank you.
Good.
At least I think I am.
You think you are?
I think I am.
We might have to go to typing test here later and see what we can do.
And see where we go. We'll do that off the mic because I don't want to seem too professional about it. Yeah, no. So typing test, and like we just said, you could do the practice critical. Thanks for sharing that, because that's a good opportunity for people to get on there and try it out and see if that's for them. Maybe we have a listener that's like, oh, I'm good with typing. I'm good with this. I'm ready to multitask. They take the critical. What's the process? What's the time frame? Because you said you guys are working on moving it along faster.
So currently, I mean, it can take a couple months to get hired. And that's, I know for Killer specifically, because you fill out the initial application, then you take the critical, then you have to fill out a form after that to release to do a background check, which is where, we would run a criminal history, make sure you haven't been arrested, or if you have, what was it for? How long ago was it? Were you charged? They go through all of that. You also have to, after that, fill out a PHS, which is a personal history statement. It's not, I was going to say statement is the wrong word. It should really be like, well, this probably doesn't sound good, but PCP, PHP, personal history packet, because
it's a packet.
I think ours is like 30 something pages, and they want to know who you are, who your mama is, who your mama's mama is what it seems like. And it's just,
is this online, or do you guys do that? You have to actually
go get it and fill it out. I know some agencies do it online. Grapevine does theirs online.
Oh, do they?
They do. Okay. So I've actually been meaning to bring that up to Keller to see what can we do to get it online, because paper is just so old school nowadays.
Well, we got to save the trees.
And save the trees.
We got to save
you're
the
right.
trees.
Save
So
the
that's
trees.
the green and Abbey coming out
Yeah,
and
there you
save the
go.
trees. So that's, because I know it's a lot. But you know what? Sometimes if you have really nice writing skills, this is your time to shine.
It is, because whenever we get them and we kind of look them over, I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl writes so beautifully. And I'm
I
like, I want
know.
her just for that. Although
You
she'll
want 'em
probably
to write
never write on paper. She's going to type. But I'm like, it's so pretty.
But she can make cards. He or she can make cards.
That's true. You've got
And
a good-
do some greeting cards or birthday cards and everything like that. So, because we find so many different fun talents in the 911 world with when they
for
start.
sure.
We're like, oh my gosh, you
It's
can
so
do
crazy
that?
to see that, each dispatcher has something to bring to the table, like their own talent. We had one girl that crocheted hats. She made masks for us whenever COVID was going on for us to actually wear. And so I won't get off on a tangent, but it's just so neat to see the talents that everybody has and kind of, that they bring to the table. It's awesome.
There is. And throughout the county, like there's so many dispatchers I've met. And I'm like, whoa, you do this, you do that. That's amazing.
It's
I'm
neat.
always super impressed. And they'll make me little gifts and bring it in. And they'll be like, oh, hey, we made this cup. Like everybody does the
like the
epoxy
tumblers
tumblers and stuff like that. Someone made me a Wonder Woman one.
Nice.
I've had different ones that have my name on it and everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so nice. And plus it's always nice to be thought about,
Of course.
Usually I'm the gift giver, but I can't say that I don't appreciate a trinket here or there. So that's wonderful. So you finish out the big packet, you turn that in.
Yeah, there's usually kind of like a preliminary interview where Sergeant Potts is the one that does ours, is his name, but he'll go over your packet with you, specifically anything that might stand out or that he needs to question you about. So sometimes drug use will come up for people that, tried marijuana once way back in the day, and, he's just going to talk to you about it and, and make sure it's not something that you're still doing or whatever. And then after that, you move on to getting an interview. So you'll have an interview with the board, which is usually like a captain, and then the manager, assistant manager, a supervisor, and then one of the dispatchers.
So at least like 4 to 5 people.
At least 4 to 5 people. So that can be kind of intimidating. I'll admit there was like 7 on the other side of the table of mine, 7 people, and then just me all by my lonesome. And it can be intimidating, but
don't be intimidated, folks. I know these people. They're just sweet old teddy bears. You're fine.
Sometimes they just put on the stern face, but
they're
everybody's
actually
sweet.
They're just actually just the nicest people. So it's okay. It's so when you get to know these people, you're like, what?
Oh,
You're so sweet. What are you doing?
Well, it's so funny. The guy that did my background and stuff back in the day, of course, I was so intimidated because he had such a low, deep voice. And then once I got hired and got through, and his voice changed, and he was like, I'm just a teddy bear. And I'm like, well, I wish I would have known that from the beginning. I would have been so more relaxed through this whole process.
They're human too. We're all humans.
Exactly.
We all have emotions, feelings, big hearts, deep souls, that kind of vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys are you guys polygraphing?
Yep. So there is a polygraph, which they usually ask, just a series of questions based on your personal history statement that you filled out, just to make sure you didn't lie about anything, of course. And then we still do the psych evaluations where they send you out.
A lot of agencies will still do that too.
It can be a little intense. So
it's just a questionnaire, right?
It is. There's a lot of questions, I will admit. Yeah, there's a lot of questions, and then they usually ask you about the questions on there. So after there's just a brief interview over it.
I have a horrible memory, and it's not getting any better. So I was always forgetting, like, oh, what did I put? What did I say?
Same.
So don't worry about it. Just in the other podcasts, some of the other 911 leaders were talking about, like, just be honest.
Exactly.
Just be honest out the gate, and you won't have anything to worry about. As long as you're honest. Oh, yeah. They actually appreciate that more than anything.
Absolutely. And I know they really stress that at Keller. So many things, everybody's made mistakes in their life.
Oh, yeah.
There's forgiveness. Some of that stuff can be overlooked, but if you lie about those mistakes and then it comes back to bite you, that's, that's what's going to get you, canned or, out of the process before telling the truth and then overlooking it.
Yeah, because you have to think about it, just even in your regular day-to-day life, would you want a friend that's going to come to your house and see all your stuff that's going to lie? And did you steal this, or did you do that? Kind of looking at your own personal view of stuff. If that's kind of how 911 or working in public safety is, and this should be at any job, really.
Exactly.
You want to be honest, ethical. You have some morals and stuff like that. So that's any job. So, do the right thing. Make the right decision.
Yeah,
Take the highest road.
Exactly.
So that's great. So again, you can go on our website, tc911.org, or you can go to the City of Keller's website, or you said you guys are on Indeed.
Yeah, it's usually posted on Indeed as well, Indeed.com.
Okay. That makes it easier too, because if people already have, well, they still have to fill out the application. So I also want to make sure that we covered this, because I've actually had members of the public ask me too. So if you do that, you can't just send a resume. You have to fill out the application.
Yeah, you do have to fill out the full application. There's, of course, you can attach your resume, a cover letter if you choose to. But yeah, definitely fill out the full application.
Okay. So I want to make that known too, because I know that too, when you get on Indeed, some people are like, oh, I just send them, I don't have to fill anything out. It's quick. Here, I'm going to send out my resume. But no, folks, you got to stop. You got to fill out their application, but you can attach your resume too, which will help them also, maybe in more in detailed information also. Not that you're not going to get more in depth anyway.
Right, exactly.
But maybe you have a really pretty resume. I always enjoy to see a good, pretty resume.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Is that, what movie is that where her resume was was scented?
Oh, yes. Legally Blonde.
Oh,
she
yeah,
had sprayed some.
The paper was scented.
Yeah.
It's just like, hilarious. It's scented.
I remember seeing the older guy in like her interview smelling it real quick.
The smell, it smells good.
Yeah.
It's scented.
And she was so proud that it was scented.
Yeah. I kind of think that, I feel like we don't have much paperwork around here anymore, but I think we print out the agendas for the board members. I think we should put it on scented paper.
There you go. Yeah.
And see if anybody notices. But I wouldn't want to use like anything floral. I'd be like, fries.
French. Everybody's going to be hungry through the whole thing.
Barbecue sandwiches. Like that, stuff that you like. Oh, bacon.
Bacon will get anybody.
Everyone who does not get up in the morning, sometimes like you get up and walk in the morning in your neighborhood, or you're getting up and you smell like breakfast. It smells breakfast outside.
Yeah.
Or the scent of popcorn or something, or funnel cakes if you're at the fairs.
Yeah.
Who would not enjoy that? And
exactly.
So everyone listening, if you're in a job that you have to print stuff out, really start considering that how much of you can just really bring up the attitudes and the smiles in your office by doing scented paper.
Exactly. Well, and I just thought like even the smell of coffee for the people that like coffee in the mornings.
That would be good. A little espresso paper.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have that on Amazon. I'm going to look to see if they sell scented paper.
You know what? Somebody's selling it somewhere.
Someone's got it. If no one's selling it yet, please sell it, because I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to roll with this. This can be totally your DIY.
But she's going to buy it.
But I'm going to buy it. You already have a customer, and I'm going to buy a lot of it.
Shark Tank, here you come. Whoever makes it.
Yes. And I'll go on there and tell my testimony of like, yeah, I do this. I'll even share it with all of the dispatch centers. Like everyone at least print something on this paper and put it somewhere to see if anyone's like, what's it smells like popcorn.
Yeah.
It smells like funnel cakes in here.
Funny.
That's amazing. And it's an instant smile.
Yeah, for sure.
See, just thinking of all sorts of side jobs to do. There you go. So we make sure that we fill out the application along with putting our resume in.
Yes.
So that is fantastic. So everyone out there, again, you can work with Brittany over at NETCOM if you apply today. And I don't think do you guys have a closing? Is it deadline?
I don't know if there's a set closing. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure if they have a set closing date. Usually they push it out a month or two just to give people quite a bit of time.
This is, okay.
August
Here we go.
2nd, is that what that says?
No, that's for your hiring thing. So
gotcha.
this is pre-recorded, folks. So you've that one's going to be taken out. I don't think you guys have, you have one here, but we will say that keep looking, because it may get extended.
Yeah.
So always just keep it on there. So, because I'll just keep it on my website, because the last time I took it down because it met the deadline.
Yeah, I think they messaged you, was like, hey, put it back up.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. So we're just going to go ahead and leave that up there. So yeah, it's just keep on going on there. And it's so easy. I'm actually on their website, and it's super easy. You just hit apply and everything. I want to see. I'm not going to apply, but it tells you about yourself. No way. You know how much gossip will come out of that.
Oh goodness.
Everybody be like, what? Dudek applied for Keller? What's going on? No, my place is here. So 10 years in, so in, what is that, 2013?
It was, yeah.
Then you started. So what did you do prior?
I worked at Best Buy for 5 years.
Oh, I love Best Buy.
I love Best Buy too. I wasn't a geek squad, but I did help them out. But I mainly did like customer service and things like that. So I just...
You don't get their discounts anymore?
I might.
Oh, I just bought a fridge.
Did you? I just bought one too. I didn't get a discount on it.
I had to buy 2 fridges. So I bought one for the inside. Well, I had to buy one for the inside of the house, like a nice one. And then I bought one for the garage.
The garage.
So I didn't really have to, really get fancy on that one. But, so Best Buy. And then prior to that was, I was
working that. No, I've been a caregiver at a few different places. Still kind of do that on the side too. Specifically a guy that has MS, help him out in the mornings. But caregiver. So I really love serving, to be honest, helping people, which is caregiver. Did customer service at Best Buy, really liked helping people there. And then that led into, now dispatching.
And now you're help saving lives. Yeah. So that's amazing. So how did you, what was that almost like crystallizing experience where you were at Best Buy and you're like, I'm going to go work as a 911 operator?
Well, I got to be honest. I, just remember always looking, just to see what was out there, different types of jobs. And I was like, oh, that'd be fun to answer 911 calls. And I just was oblivious to how much a dispatcher actually did.
Yeah. Considering that you're like, that'd be fun to answer 911
Yeah, that was, that'd be fun to do 911 calls. I had no idea that it was going to be confirming on warrants, talking on the radio to the officers, dispatching the fire department, working in progress calls and, just all types of that. So I was oblivious. I didn't know that they dispatched from multiple agencies at the time. I was just like, oh, this seems cool. And I put my application in and ended up getting hired. And thank goodness I made it. So,
well, you had growth potential. So you were there for 3 years and a supervisor spot opened up. Okay. So you were ready. You knew you were like, hey, I'm ready to take that next step.
Oh, absolutely.
And be a leader into that. And was that a pretty easy process? I mean, for if someone is wanting to apply there and wants potential of growth, that comes up pretty often then.
Yeah, it does. We just hired, Keller does try to really promote from within, which is good. And especially at the supervisor level, we try and train even other people on the floor. This is what the supervisors do. So if the position ever comes up, you've already got a little bit of experience under your belt, this is how we do this and so forth. So really just trying to grow, everyone when we can, just teach them little things here and there about what supervisors do. But so you don't have to do another personal history statement. You're already employed there.
You got to start from the beginning.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah, that would be rough. But nope. So you don't have to do another polygraph. No psych evaluation again.
You're already in.
So it's just interviews at that point, and then who's best for the position. You do have to have training experience. So be a CTO. It's a certified training officer, which just means you have to have experience actually training someone, because that's really could be part of the first step of leading someone. Can you teach people how to do the job? How good are your communication skills? You've got to be able to communicate really well. And so if you're a good trainer, usually that can lead into, being a good supervisor as well.
Yeah. So I like that you guys give them the opportunity to even grow before a position like that will open up. And what a great way to give back even into the industry of being a trainer, because you would get your training certificate or, certified to be a trainer, 911 trainer for it. And you would get that here at Tarrant County 911 District. And then you can go back and then you can actually be a trainer. And that's amazing too. It's like paying it forward, because someone showed you how to do the job. You show someone else how to do the job. Yeah. And then you learn some leadership skills, because you're really responsible for that person for the time being that they're with you, correct?
Yeah. And, not that it's all on the trainer, because of course, the trainee has to have the initiative and the drive, but how well they do, it definitely falls back on the trainer. So if you're not training them well, they might not be successful during the training process. So,
you guys do the thing of, and I don't know if all agencies do this, but do you do the thing where if I was to start working there, and I got hired on and I'm in training, do I go to different shifts every few weeks and stuff to get the kind of get a sample of what shifts are like, because different calls happen at different times.
Exactly.
Calls in the evening are going to be different than calls during the day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's so many more people are awake during the day, so you're probably going to get a lot more call volume during the day. And that can depend on different agencies and cities and, what type of activity goes on in the city. But we do like to rotate. We do want people to have some nights experience, some day experience, because it literally is night and day on the type of calls that you're going to get. And then also depends on where the trainers are. So
their schedule.
Yeah, their schedule. So if we've got one that just trains really good on patrol, which is the radio channel, dispatching the officers, then we want them to be with that person because she just does a great job training. So you're going to have to go to whichever shift she's working. But we do that because we want the best trainers to be the ones that are training the most, of course.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it is, I think it's really important for them for a new hire to get a taste of the different shifts and to also, understand the whole time factor and sleep factor in that, to, where you can adjust your life to that also. I actually liked working night shift.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. I was a night bug. I liked it. I did not mind it at all. I was able to come home, go to sleep, stuff like. Now, mind you, I have no kids. No, I just,
gotcha.
So that was a little bit easier for me. So there was a little bit of stipulation there with me. I didn't have kids and, spouse and things like that to have around the house or anything like that. So it was easy for me to come home. Dog totally got on my schedule. We went to sleep, and then that was it. But I don't know. I just like working the night shift. I just enjoyed it.
I do too, especially if you work the nights and then the weekends. I say good calls, and I don't mean that they're good as far as good things happen. We don't ever want anybody.
Very active.
You get very active calls. Yeah, that's another way to do it.
Active calls.
The pursuits happen. The drunk drivers are out, or there's a family party and people aren't getting along. So you just get a lot of active, kind of get your adrenaline going calls.
You get a lot of diverse calls on that, and the one thing, and I don't know if you want to agree with me on this one, but it's when you're a dispatcher, you get pumped up about stuff going on.
Oh, for sure.
You're like, oh man, especially when the radio keys up and you can tell the officer's going to start moving.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, oh, here we go.
Here we go. Like, it's so funny because if you ever go to a dispatch center and you can hear that stuff's hitting the fan or it's getting really busy, the people that are sitting down because our desk raise, they'll immediately raise their desk up because they've just got so much adrenaline. Yeah. They've got to stand up and here's the action. Everybody's ready to rock and roll. Yes. So it's so funny to, see them sitting and then they're like, close the channel. We've got whatever going on. And immediately everybody's like trying to stand up and,
we got this, because that's the passion of like, okay, we're here. We're not only going to help our fellow first responders, but we're here to keep citizens safe as much as possible, get information out, do that. So it's a well-oiled machine. It's a huge team. Do you guys, if anyone is interested, is a citizen able to come in and as long as they get background check, can they sit in the dispatch center?
Yeah, they absolutely can. And I don't know if all agencies offer it, but we have, we call it CPA. It's our Citizens Police Academy class. I actually teach the dispatch portion of it. So it's specifically for the citizens of Keller. Southlake has theirs and then Colleyville does as well. But you can take like an actual course and they pretty much just teach you this is what the officers do. This is what the fire department does. And then you get to come in with dispatch and then sit in with us as well.
But they have to be a citizen of Keller.
Of Keller to do it.
So if I live in Fort Worth, I can't, and I want to work at Keller, I can't say, hey, can I sit in and listen? Can I sit in a couple hours?
No, I honestly don't think that you would be told no. I've never had someone outside of Keller ask, but I know Jessica for sure, who's our assistant manager, is going to say, yeah, bring them on in. If somebody wants to come in and learn about what we do, there's so many of us that we love telling people and showing people. So just...
Oh, yeah. You all love that.
Yeah, just contact us. We'll get you in to come in and sit in for a couple hours. It's really fun.
Dispatchers get super excited when they can show their craft to others. Yes. So, and I love watching that too, because they get all excited because it's a proud moment because you're proud of your job. You're proud of what you're doing. Sure. And it's like, hey, hey, you want to go see my toys? And you're a kid and you're like, you want to go see my toys? Look at this, look at this,
exactly.
Look at this. It's great because it's a great way of showing like, this is how we save lives. This is how we help the community. This is how we make it work. And it all works very well.
Yeah.
Everyone does their best. But we have, you all have the tools to get the job done and to get it done efficiently as best possible,
Well, yeah. And I definitely think it's an eye opener for the citizens, because like I said, whenever I first applied, I just, thought I was going to be answering 911 calls, but no, there's, never really a time that you're just answering a call. You might be on the radio and also answering a call, or, you're taking a 911 call, but then you've got to dispatch the fire department. And so,
yeah. And those are different. That's different. So we've had some podcasts where we've talked to some folks and
or you just guys, call takers.
Yeah. You guys, NETCOM does it all.
We do, yeah. So we rotate. Yeah.
And some of the agencies, like some of the bigger ones, they'll have separate call takers versus radio personnel.
Yeah.
They don't dispatch fire because that gets transferred somewhere else, or they don't dispatch medical because that gets dispatched to
like
MedStar, transferred to MedStar. When you're looking at jobs and things, always ask questions if you're getting into the 911 field of, what are the actual job tasks? Am I just going to be a call taker? Am I doing a whole city? Am I doing 4 cities? I know that may sound a bit jolting of like, whoa, 4 cities, but it's not.
No, it's not
what you think it is.
Yeah, it's not like we're Dallas or Fort Worth, where they're so busy that, for example, they have separate call takers, and then they have their radio or patrol dispatchers that are separate. We're nowhere near as busy, even with 4 cities, nowhere near as busy as Fort Worth is.
So don't let it scare you of like, whoa, 4 cities, that can be tough. It's not that bad. Trust me. If I did it, it's fine. So that's amazing. So, I really appreciate your dedication and your passion for the industry. And I know that you're just wanting to continue this path and stay in 911 and just, pave the way for new ones to come in and whatnot. And the technology is continuing to grow to get better from where it was just even 10 years ago to where it is now. And you guys have programs that also help within your own city to assist with the citizens and everything like that. So I commend, Keller for what they do to do that extra mile, ensure the safety and everything of the citizens. So that's definitely appreciated. I think I was close. I was in Faux Keller.
Oh,
so
Faux Keller.
I was on just, if I literally lived like a block over, I would be in Keller, but I was in Faux Keller, which Fort Worth Keller, Faux Keller.
Yes.
But now I'm all the way south Fort Worth, so I'm definitely back in Fort Worth. I moved from that location. I'm not no longer in the nosebleed section of Fort Worth, as I call it.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying too, because you may have people that want to sit in, that are in like the Faux Keller area, that may want to apply.
Yeah, and that'd be great because. Yeah, so like, for example, and just to explain to anybody that doesn't know, we say Faux Keller, but anything with 76244 zip code has a Keller mailing address, but it's actually within the city of Fort Worth. So at Fort Worth Fire and then Fort Worth Police Department. So
I always say check your trash cans.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Check your trash cans. If your
and
trash,
who you pay your water bill to.
Yep. Check your trash and check your utilities, minus electric and gas. But if your water and trash have a Longhorn on it, you're paying Fort Worth.
Yeah.
If it's a picture of pretty trees,
it's Keller.
Yes. Okay. So no matter what city you live in, if you're never sure, check your trash cans. So that's who's going to respond to your emergency. That's who you're going to need to make your non-emergency reports if the crime happened in that city. So just a little helpful tip there. I have to give kudos to the GIS team. They're the ones that gave me that line. I can't say
gotcha.
I coined that. I got to give credit where credit's due. So our GIS team was always like, check your trash cans. Yeah. So that's brilliant. Brittany, I appreciate your time today, and hopefully I'm not keeping you from a sleep schedule.
No, I'm on days right now, so we're good. We're good. I was wide awake.
You could have totally like played with that and be like, oh, Abby, I just got off work on a 12-hour shift.
I could have.
I would have been like, wow, you're just not telling me this at the end of this podcast. Now I feel like horrible. Oh my gosh. But what a great podcast.
It was good. It would have been
good. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And everything you put into that. And folks, thank you for listening today. Join us next week for an all new podcast where we speak to another leader in 911. And you can listen to us on our website at tc911.org or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And until next time, have a fabulous week.